Brad Hodge here. This particular artwork is called Ambiguous Assumptions. It was actually a huge amount of fun to do. It came from an idea that I had just dealing with people in general, I guess, where we tend to make assumptions about who people are based on the way that they look. And I've done, lots of work in low socioeconomic areas and have, met all sorts of different people, and so often it's the case that your first assumption about who they are is very much not an accurate depiction of what they are. We apply stereotypes all the time, and it's a really human thing, and it's actually something that we can't do a lot about. And so this artwork, I guess, what I was trying to capture is that we don't know what's going on for somebody until we actually ask. And so in this artwork, we see this kind of character who's hunched down. You'll see later that he's in the rain, and he's carrying a baby. And men carrying babies in artwork is not particularly common, which is horrifying, really. But as a result, you've got this kind of man, and people look at this picture differently. And some people just get this. I had a friend of mine, she just looks at it and she's like, I know exactly what you're talking about before I explained it to her. But it's this idea that some people, when they look at this artwork, they look at it and they see a man stealing a baby. This bad man's in a bad environment, stealing a baby, an innocent baby. And yet others look at this image and they see a man protecting a baby from the weather, kind of hunched over, kind of trying to look after the baby and get it out of this kind of bad environment. And so it's really interesting because lots and lots of people look at this image and they just think, oh, that's terrible. Why would I put that on my wall? And fair enough. But it is about this idea that we make assumptions about people based on pretty much nothing. And the only thing we can do about it is force ourselves to ask the question afterwards. Those stereotypes, we haven't got a lot of control over them. So this artwork was actually really, really interesting to do. It was done on the iPad Pro, and still using that kind of approach of grabbing lots of bits and pieces and pulling them together. And you'll see I'm very much using this kind of pencil effect here, and the reason that I'm using that is because I like to have lots of different colors. Nothing is one color. When you zoom into individual pixels, you'll very quickly see that everything has lots and lots of colors. And so by scribbling over and over, I can make these kind of slight changes and have colors in the setting that you might not actually think are there. It was quite tricky getting this right, the lights in the background and the neon kind of feel, and having the rain and the weather and keeping that kind of grubby sense to it, which was really, really interesting. I would actually like to do some more stuff like this with nighttime photos, and it's interesting to watch the way that the light kind of bounces around, and it takes an awful lot of work. But yeah, so this particular artwork was a huge amount of fun. I have sold a couple of these. I think I still have some left, which you can get on the website. So you can go to bradhodge.com, and you'll see this artwork and a range of other artworks that I've done for sale there. Now, the money that I raise from these artworks, I actually goes directly to a fantastic organisation called Orfund. Orfund run a number of different projects providing schooling and food and roofs over heads for kids who just have no other opportunities at all in a range of different countries. So they work really hard to support kids, to keep them in school and to give them opportunities. And they've got some great stories coming out now. They've been going for about 15 years of kids who, were pretty much found on the tip, scavenging for food, who are now kind of successfully getting through university and making a difference in their own community. So this is a local organisation, and I do a bit of work with them. So the money raised from my artwork goes to them, and the reason for that is because I know that when I donate money, all of it goes to the kids. There's no money spent on administration. There's no money spent on fancy offices or logos. It's a volunteer-run organisation, so I know that money's actually making a difference. It's keeping kids alive and keeping them in education, which is really, really important. So jump on the website, bradhodge.com, If you want to know more about the organisation I donate to, that's the organisation's called Orfund, and you can find that at orfund dot with an F in it, orphfund.org, and you can see a bit of what they're doing. So jump on there. I would love to send you a copy of this print or any of the others. Let me know what you think. Would love to hear your thoughts. Thanks.